What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. Dan, we're going to the ALCS.
We're going to ALCS, bro. And, you didn't ask me how I was doing. I was expecting that you would. But to fully
Does it matter?
describe, no, it doesn't. But I'm going to explain, explain how I'm doing. I just want to call back to a couple of days ago, Pat. I coined that as the worst night of my life, the worst playoff watch that I've experienced as a Yankee fan. And that just shows the beauty of baseball, because here we are 2 days later or 3 days later, because fuck the rain, 3 days later, and we're headed to the ALCS, and we're getting what I've wanted for a couple of years now, the rematch of the century, baby. How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm chilling. I went to the game tonight. Vibes were immaculate. The stadium filled in pretty nicely after, the 4 o'clock start time. Amazing game all around. Nestor shoved. The offense looked great. Postseason, Stanton showed up, which isn't even a surprise anymore. One of the greatest postseason hitters in Yankees history at this point. I don't even think that's debatable. Aaron Judge showed up. Love to see that out of him. And overall, the Guardians put up a solid fight, but I think the better team won at the end of the day. And we were so depressed after game 3, and we said if the Yankees win these next two, it erases everything from that moment. I don't care about that game anymore. I can look back at that game now and laugh. I can look at that choke job and laugh, because now we're going to the ALCS, potentially going to the World Series. We'll see what happens there. We'll break down the ALCS matchup and see if it's likely. But I am so excited for Yankees Astros. I know you've been kind of clamoring for it for so long. I was kind of but like I always said, like now that that's the situation in front of us, feed me Houston, bro. I'm excited for it.
Dude, no, 100%. Like I said, it's going to be a big story across all of sports. Yankees, Astros back at it. First time in the playoffs since the cheating scandal was revealed. And let me just touch on going into today, because when game 5 was going to take place on Sunday night, I was the most confident dude around. I was pumped. I was like, we got this in the bag. No, it was Monday night, dude. You know what? I'm so off whenever I describe days in the show. I don't know what's good. Anyways, got rained out. And suddenly, man, going into today, I was very nervous. I really was. I'm not going to lie. I was questionable about Nestor going on 3 days rest. And not going to lie, I was feeling pretty damn good about Jameson Taillon going originally. But, man, when Stan hit that 3-run bomb, I was like, that was it. All right, we're going. See you soon, Houston. And, man, Nestor really held his own. Definitely was a better start than he had in game 2, which wasn't even bad. Bullpen overall this series was awesome. Offense looked good again. It was really just, game 2 in general, outside of the 9th inning in game 3, game 2 is really the only overall blemish of this series, because that's when the offense, really didn't do anything. Besides that, I wasn't not confident in them in any other game. Sure. You know what I mean? Like today they looked good. Stanton was awesome. Judge, who, was labeled so much as having, not shown up this series, not being able to handle the lights or whatever. 2 home runs, slugged 500 in the series. And just overall, man, let me give some shout outs to some other people too. Anthony Rizzo was awesome this series, man. Yeah. 840 OPS. Harrison Bader, we've talked about a bunch. So, yeah, man, this series, and, we were just talking about it before. We do wish we could have like a day in between the ALDS and the ALCS. So that way we can kind of like, 1, soak it in a little more, and 2, kind of just go more in depth about it. But, yeah man, good vibes all around.
And, there's certain players that I do want to talk about, but I think we'll kind of save it for our preview that we're about to hit on, and because we'll look at specific matchups and we'll bring up their performance in the ALDS as well. So I say we kind of get right into it. I wish I said this before we kind of hit the record button. I wish we had time to dedicate a full episode to ALDS Game 5 and kind of just recapping the ALDS. Unfortunately, we don't really have that since the ALCS starts tonight. Which is kind of like a 24-hour period, but it's fine.
Which my nerves are already creeping in a little bit, by the way.
No, mine aren't, because it hasn't hit me yet that the ALCS is tonight. You know what I mean?
Fair,
it's kind of weird.
Fair.
But I say we just hop right into the preview. I promise you guys that we will not forget to compare DHs this time, because for the ALDS we did. But
I don't know if we would address that on air, by the way, that when we did our Guardians Yankees ALDS preview. And that's all my bad, not Pat's, because I wrote out the outline. I wrote all the positions out, and somehow I forgot the DH slot, and Giancarlo Stanton wasn't involved. So that's on me. But hey, yeah, like you said, man, we're going to win the series time around. We did. We did, man. Hey, if anything, bro, we set the Yankees on a good mojo vibe, bro. We did.
Right. We're rocking the baby, right?
How great was that? We have to talk about that really, really quick.
Oh, bro, I didn't even see it because I was at the stadium, right? So obviously when the Yankees win, everybody goes crazy. I didn't see Glaber doing the rock and the baby. It's like a piece, bro.
I didn't see it until they showed the replay. It was awesome. And also earlier, did you notice they put it on Twitter? Oswaldo Cabrera, after he caught that Josh Naylor line drive right up the middle, he said, "You're my son" in Spanish. Oswaldo Cabrera apparently
I saw
on
that
that line
tweet.
drive, which is
I saw that
awesome
tweet.
if that's true. And also the Yankee wives and girlfriends later were doing that. Did you see that too?
Bro, I
Good
think that's gonna be our
vibes.
thing throughout the postseason now. Like, you know how they always have like their little thing in a
That's this year's thumb
circle.
down.
Yeah, I know. I think it is. And Josh Naylor, you might have just given us a World Series run. Just
On a
saying, bro.
solo
He
home run where your
he
team was
woke up
losing.
a monster,
Woke up a
sleeping
sleeping
giant.
giant.
But yo, I say we hop right into the preview here. We're gonna break down position by position. We'll look at the rotation. We'll look at the bullpen. It's gonna be a fun one. So I say we start right off with catcher here: Jose Trevino / Kyle Higashioka for the Yankees, and then Martin Maldonado and Christian Vasquez for the Astros. I'm gonna be honest with you. The catcher position isn't really one we really look to for insane offense anyway. So I'm kind of viewing this one as a wash. However, I guess if I had to lean a certain way, I guess I'd go the Yankees, even though like Trevi has been struggling lately. But yeah, no, I think I'd go the Yankees, but very slightly, and you could go in either direction just because it's like whatever, you know.
Yeah, I was going to go that same route saying that catcher's kind of a wash. But I mean, Christian Vasquez is probably the best offensive piece out of, Trevino, Higgy, Maldonado, and him. But, for Maldonado, the big thing going about him would be the defense. And like we said in the last episode, Trevino was basically the best defensive catcher in the American League this year. So if, what we're prioritizing is what the skills are behind the plate, I feel like you kind of have to go Trevino.
Okay, so first base. Wait, so are we giving the Yankees the tick for that one?
Oh, we're doing the count? Yep.
I guess,
Yep.
right?
Okay, so
Okay.
Yankees won.
So first base, we're gonna go Anthony Rizzo versus Yuli Gurriel. Dude, to be honest with you, I know Gurriel had a pretty solid ALDS. However, I don't think that this one's any sort of competition. Anthony Rizzo by far. Yuli Gurriel, he's had like really solid seasons in the past. 2022 was not one of those. He struggled pretty significantly. And I don't think the defense is even close. I think that Anthony Rizzo is taking this one by far.
Yeah, man. I didn't even realize till now. First time pulling up Gurriel's stat page. Dude, he was awful this year. 146 games, hit 242, on base below 300, 85 WRC plus, had a negative WAR. So he was very bad this year. And like I mentioned before, Rizzo coming off a very good ALDS. So I think we're in agreement here, man. 2-0 Yankees already. How about it?
Dude, hopefully they go up 2-0 in the series.
That's what we said last time. And it worked out. We did literally say the exact same line, I'm pretty sure. So
but we didn't go up 2-0 against Guardians.
Well, no, but I more so mean like, we talk about the series on the show and it just leads to good things. So
yeah, we'll see. Moving on to second base here. Gleyber Torres for the Yankees, Jose Altuve for the Astros. Dan, I know Jose Altuve, public enemy number one. He gets the edge here. Jose Altuve, regardless if you hate him or not, he's a stud. He's probably, if not the best, one of the best second basemen in the league still. Offensively, he's insane. Defensively, he's pretty good as well. That's not a knock on Gleyber Torres at all, because if there's any other second baseman he's going up against, he's probably taking the W there. But yeah, no, I think the Astros definitely have the edge at second base with Altuve over Gleyber.
Yeah, Altuve, when you compare to league average, he actually hit better in 2022 than he did in his, in quotes, MVP season in 2017. Yeah, no doubt about it. And, while we're on the topic of it, I do want to run this by you because I'm curious how you feel when it comes to the fuck Altuve chance. Now, to establish my position on it, I think when the Yankees aren't playing the Astros, it's utterly absurd. When they are, however, I think it's total fair game. And, some people say, oh, all it does is just wake him up, get him hot. That to me doesn't really mean anything. If I'm in the stadium tomorrow, I'd probably be saying the same thing. Or when they come to the stadium, I'd be saying the same thing.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, my thing with the fuck Altuve chance has always kind of been like, it makes no sense when he's not here. Like, then it's kind of like living in your head rent free, right?
Right.
It's like in a Met game when they're chanting Yankees suck when they're playing the Nationals, or like with the Red Sox or something. It looks bad. It looks like a little brother syndrome. So I hate when Yankee fans do when Altuve is nowhere to be found. However, if it's the ALCS, we're playing the Astros, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with FL Tuve. I have no problem with any of the chants that go on. It's like, it's the same thing that the Yankee fans did with Naylor today, right? Like, who's your daddy? Right. Like, yeah. I think that's
because it applies to the current situation. They were chanting 100%. Who's your daddy at Naylor when, like, during this Astros series, for example, like that would be weird. But also for Altuve, there's a couple guys in this lineup this applies to, but you can't let him beat you. If you, like, whether it's in a big spot or not, like, just do not, especially if he gets to that point where he does start to hit and find his stroke, don't let him be the guy that is the reason you lose a game. Pitch around him. Yeah. It's him and one other guy that really concerns me, which we'll get to.
We'll talk about him.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But moving on here. Third base / DH. We're going to go Josh Donaldson versus Alex Bregman. This is another one. The Astros are making a pretty solid comeback here. I got to go Alex Bregman. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, Donaldson had a pretty decent ALDS, you could say, right? I mean, he looks solid defensively as well at third. I'm pretty satisfied with what Donaldson showed us, but you can't really compare him to Alex Bregman. Bregman had a pretty good year in 2022. I don't really think that this one is that much of a debate here. I think it's easily Bregman.
Okay, before I say my answer, well, no, I'll give my answer and say it's Bregman. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
But when talking about third base, we're recording this before the roster is official. But as of right now, it does seem like DJ LeMahieu is going to be an option. So first half DJ LeMahieu this year, he was a 136 WRC plus hitter. That's a fact. Alex Bregman this year, 136 WRC plus hitter. So if we get a healthy DJ LeMahieu and he sees some time at third base, that's a big boost for the Yankee offense if he's healthy, which all of a sudden, even though 5 days ago it apparently was affecting his swing, he said this morning or Tuesday morning that he's ready to go and he feels the best he's felt in a long time, or at least with when he had this toe injury. So got to factor in DJ as well to the third base conversation. But yeah, to be fair, I mean, it definitely would be Bregman no matter what, probably.
Can I be honest with you, though? Like, I think I'd probably at this point go with Donaldson over DJ at third base, just because it's like we don't know what we're getting from DJ. Like, at least Donaldson's been getting like consistent at bats, facing live pitching in the postseason, playing solid defense at third. We don't know what we're getting from DJ. Like, when he returned from injury to the end of the season, like he didn't look good. So now to kind of just throw him in there for the ALCS and like bench Donaldson, who's kind of been playing solid. I'm not that big of a fan of that.
Sure. No, I mean, I'm with you on that. But if DJ is healthy and he's on the roster, I feel like at some point, unless Donaldson's trying to cover the ball, he'll get a start eventually. Now, if he's not healthy enough to be starting to where his swing is affected by it, then I wouldn't want him on the roster. I think at that point, it should become a conversation of you might as well put Peraza in his place. But
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, we're giving the edge to Bregman there,
For sure,
regardless if it's DJ or Donaldson. So what is that? That's 2-2 now,
2-2
right?
now, yep.
2-2 tie. However, the Astros are breaking the tie with this one. Shortstop, we're looking at Oswaldo Cabrera because I doubt IKF is going to be starting there. Going up against Jeremy Pena of the Houston Astros. Pena, awesome season, bro. He's filling the shoes of Carlos Correa, and he did it pretty damn nicely. And he got the home run that kind of like won them in the 18th inning of Game 3 against Mariners, right? So shout out to him, I guess. I don't know. But I'm going with Pena over Oswaldo. I mean, listen, we love Oswaldo. He had a decent ALDS after kind of like looking completely lost the first 2 games. He bounced back pretty nicely. And he proved his versatility defensively for the Yankees. But I think that Pena is another clear-cut favorite here.
Yeah, for sure. Just because, we don't really have much to go up against him. And that's no diss on Oswaldo. As for his season, I mean, I feel like he had a much better first half than second half because in the end, he still finished right around being a league average hitter, 102 WRC plus. He gets the edge no matter what. I will say that you bring up the series finale that Pena took the lead on that home run. Just the fact that the Astros went 17 innings without scoring, that alone gives me hope, because for a while they had probably the premier best offense in the league. That's not the case with this team. Now, they're definitely not scrubs, but this is definitely the worst Houston Astros offense we've faced.
I agree.
Over the last 5 or 6 years.
I agree. This Astros team as a whole is probably the least intimidating that we faced at all in the postseason. So I think that that's a plus for the Yankees, I guess. Moving on to left field. We have Giancarlo Stanton in left field for the Yankees just because I think that there's a possibility he will be playing left field, at least in Minute Maid Park, right?
Apparently it's pretty likely for the first 2 games, yes. So you're probably looking at Stanton in left, which toes up against Jordan Alvarez, which I didn't even know he was playing the field, by the way. I thought he was there DH, but
yeah.
That's
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that Stanton's our guy, right? We love Stanton, especially postseason Stanton, Yankee legend, deserves a plaque at Monument Park. However, like Yordan Alvarez is a tank, bro, and he's beating out Stanton.
The only way anyone in baseball is beating out Alvarez in this situation is if Aaron Judge plays left field tomorrow,
100%. So it's not a knock on Stanton. This doesn't really prove anything. It just proves how damn good Yordan Alvarez is. Maybe don't even pitch them at all this series just because you'll probably get bit multiple times. So, yeah, I think that this is a definite edge for the Astros.
Yeah, and speaking of not pitching to him, that was the other guy. It's him and Altuve, man. Do not let these guys beat you. And I said this in the last episode with Alvarez. I really mean it, man. You have to consider Barry Bonds treatment for him. If he comes up with a big spot and the base is loaded, like just straight up do not pitch to him. Because, if you say you get beat by, I don't know, Chas McCormick, Jeremy Pena, even Alex Bregman, Yuli, whoever, it's like, I'll be able to sleep at night knowing, all right, you threw that guy, a competitive pitch and he whacked it out of the park, sent the Astros to the World Series to beat us. All right. Annoying, but at least you didn't give in to the one hitter who literally sent the Mariners home, essentially.
Sure.
And you could argue is the best hitter in baseball, not named Aaron Judge. Some would even argue pure hitter wise, he's the better one. I wouldn't say that, but some would. So yeah, no matter what, and it's going to be the same situation in a couple spots when you do Aaron Judge versus Kyle Tucker. It's no point really having a conversation because it's like the best of the best.
Center field, Harrison Bader going against Chas McCormick. Chas McCormick is one of the few guys in the Astros lineup that I don't really view as too much of a threat. And I think Harrison Bader kind of proved his worth to the Yankees in the ALDS. He was borderline the ALDS MVP. I guess you could make that argument. What he gives the Yankees defensively, one of the best defensive center fielders in the league, an amazing trade by Brian Cashman, probably one of the best of his career. I think that the definite edge here would probably be Bader, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And majority of these guys, like I'm pulling up their stats, looking at them for the first time. Yeah, no, McCormick, he's really nothing special. Edge definitely goes to Bader, 108 WRC plus, solid defense, 7 outs above average. But, when talking about defense, nobody's better than Bader in center. And he's coming off, I don't want to say arguably, I mean, even with Stanton playing well, Rizzo playing well, Bader had the best ALDS out of any Yankee hitter. So give the Yankees the edge in center field. So 4-3 Astros. And then now we get to the right field conversation, so which we don't really even have to talk about. So we're all knotted up with Judge versus Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, I mean, but also it's one of those where it's like it's not a knock on Kyle Tucker, right? Like I view it the same way we view the left field situation. Like Kyle Tucker is a very, very good baseball player. And he probably wins this matchup if it's somebody not named Aaron Judge. But Judge is just that guy. No one's beating him.
That was nice, judging that home run in Game 5, and then kissing the Yankee logo, bro. Did you see that? I know you're at the game.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it when I got it, dude. You'd love to see
Yankee for life cemented. Like it's official now. That seemed like a little message in a way, and also too, I think it was really cool how that's his first game he played since getting booed. Which I think people made way too big a deal out of.
At Yankee Stadium,
about that. Yeah, since at Yankee Stadium. I think people made way too big a deal about that. It's the Bronx. It happens. Jeter got booed.
Yeah, bro.
Mickey Mantle got booed. Anthony Volpe will get booed if he has a Hall of Fame 100-WAR career. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really not all that deep. And not to mention the fact it was really just a handful of people. But regardless, the fact that, Judge won, of course, handled that so well. And then first game back in the stadium, hits a home run, which was a pretty big homer. I mean, you go up 3-0 on the Stanton homer. That's obviously the big one. But, adding that insurance run right after Nestor had that lockdown hitting, that if you weren't already feeling confident, really were after that. And then, seeing him kiss that logo, man, like it felt good. It felt like he was talking to us at home as Yankee fans. My iPad just fell on my foot.
Yeah, no, I know. And the whole thing with like the booing, I think people kind of like view booing, it's kind of a tongue twister, as a little bit more of an issue than it actually is. I think it's more so just like a reactionary thing where it's like people aren't booing Aaron Judge. They're booing the Yankees' failure. And Aaron Judge is like the captain of the Yankees. Like he's the face of the Yankees. So he's going to face, it's like the manager of a restaurant, right? Or like the president of the United States. Like they are facing the backlash for everything else that's going on.
And it came at a time, like you're so right. It came at a time when I think that was probably his 4th at bat in Game 2, which by that point, the Yankees were not hitting for shit since Stanton's homer early in the game. So the booing, no big deal. And just put a bow on this. Judge easily over Tucker. So I think we're all knotted up at 4 here, which low-key is a little bit surprising. We'll go DH now, which is also kind of a confusing situation. But
DH is confusing because I mean we have DJ. At
that
DH,
might be a mistake by me because the more I think about it, Carpenter's probably gonna end up DHing if Stan's playing left tomorrow. So
I think so too. Just because Carp has like 2 at-bats on DJ at this point. So
can I say something about him real quick too, bro? Did you see? You may not have seen it, but you were there, but at least on TV, Carpenter. The stadium erupted when he got announced as a pinch hitter, dude. Like it gave me chills.
I was literally thinking this. Like when I was there, Carpenter might be one of the most loved Yankees I've ever seen. And like that's not even like an over dramatization. Like I think that like when hitters get announced, the only 2 guys that I could think of that like that eruption would come would be like Stanton and Judge on like the current Yankees. But even in that case, I think the lure of Matt Carpenter is just it makes Yankee fans go crazy. Like he's one of the most loved Yankees ever. And that's not an insane thing to say.
Yeah. And he's likable as hell to begin with. Had one of the, technically, if you take out the sample size, he had the best offensive season of any Yankee this year. And man, like if I weren't paying attention to the TV and I was just going purely off what I heard, I would have thought somebody went deep. And it was just Matt Carpenter pinch hitting, which was so awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the most electric moments of the night.
It was sick. It really was. And I hope he gets a start. I think he will, because, I mean, pitch hitting is tough. We all know that. As for this matchup, I mean, I have it here as, so yeah, Matt Carpenter versus a combination platoon of Trey Mancini and Aledmys Diaz. Mancini, nice player, nice story. Both those guys compared to what Matt Carpenter has been in 2022. I think the Yankees get the edge on this one too.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think if Carpenter is to start a game, I would love for it to be game 1 against Verlander. Just because game 2 is going to be against Framber Valdez, who's a lefty, so I can't really see the Yankees starting him there. So if there were ever a day to start Matt Carpenter, make it be tonight, game 1. I would love to see that.
You're slipping up like I usually do. You said
I know,
because
I forget sometimes. But overall, I guess we'll give the Yankees the edge there. I mean, listen, like, that's not a knock on Trey Mancini or anything, but I'm going Yankees there. So we giving the Yankees a slight edge.
Yeah, I think, it's tough with the tally system because, you also have to look at the difference between each individual position.
There's definitely
like Yordan Alvarez versus, I mean, even against Giancarlo Stanton, it's such a wide gap to where, an Astros fan may want to say give him 2 points instead of 1. And same with Altuve versus exactly things like that. So it's where they do win, they win big. But yeah, if you just go position by position, I mean, I'm not going to lie, man, even typing this out to talking right now, I feel pretty damn good. I mean, the Yankee offense is solid. And then, I don't want to, be blowing DJ again, I guess, like I was before, but having him off the bench is going to be nice, man. It really will be. So we're kind of doing kind of all right offensively.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you, bro. My whole mentality with this whole thing has always been just get me to Houston and let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Just give us the opportunity. That's all I'm asking for. So, bro, we'll see.
Right now, I was just watching Phillies, Padres, NLCS. Do you think anybody predicted them to be here? No.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody predicted them to get past who they play, the Braves, the Padres. Did anybody predict them to get past the Dodgers? No. It is baseball. And it's not whenever I'm describing saying, oh, it's baseball, anything can happen, my go-to example will often be the Pittsburgh Pirates could beat the best team in baseball on any given day. Well, guess what? We're also a lot better than the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're one of the best teams in baseball still. So it's nowhere near impossible that we could get past the Astros. Not one bit. If there's a sport where it can be done, it's this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. 1,000%. I'm really looking forward to it. But
Yo, what's up, guys? Dan here. Brief interruption to let you know that our friends over at Best Jersey Throwbacks are having an insane deal. Buy 3, get 1 free sale for a limited time. They have all our favorite Yankee players like Aaron Judge, Derek Jeter, Oswaldo Cabrera, and many, many more. Also, have other MLB teams as well. So if you're looking for players like Shohei Ohtani, Julio Rodriguez, and many more, you also got NBA jerseys, NFL, NHL, and even custom jerseys as well. So why spend over $150 on jerseys when you can buy them for $50 or less at bestjerseythrowbacks.com and get 4 jerseys for the price of 1? They provide an affordable buying experience for fans passionate about their favorite players and teams. Your purchase also comes with a tracking number and 24-hour customer service. Click the link in the description to check them out. You will not regret it.
Let's take a look at the rotation, kind of comparing at least the first 4 games, those pitching matchups. So game 1 is going to be Jameson Taillon going up against Justin Verlander. Dude, Verlander is I view him as the Tom Brady of the MLB, right? It just seems as he gets older, he's still really, really good.
Coming off a shitty game, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen. I still view Verlander as one of the best pitchers in baseball. You know what I mean? And I get his postseason career isn't necessarily the greatest. But he obviously has the edge over Jameson Taillon.
For sure. And this part of the show is a little tough because generally I don't like to because it's not pitcher going versus pitcher. And I feel good about Jameson Taillon. I really am. As for Verlander, though, I mean, probably is going to be the Cy Young. I know he got hurt at the very end, but yeah, probably looking at the Cy Young of the American League. However, like I said, coming off a rough start against the Mariners, remember the last time that we faced him? Aaron Hicks took him deep. So It's not exactly like he owns the Yankees. Definitely had good outings against us in the past.
Was that the last time we faced Verlander?
In the postseason.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, it might be overall.
Really?
Did we face him at all this year? We missed him in the 4 game at Yankee Stadium in June. I know that for a fact. We may have faced him
last year.
Well, he was Tommy John last year.
All of it? All of last year?
Yeah, because remember it was 2020 through 2021, I think. We may have faced him in Houston. Either way, what I was referring
Someone
to
in the comments let us know because I'm kind of intrigued by that.
That's where it would be nice if we were live right now, but one day.
No, I know.
Yeah, though. He doesn't. If I'm holding out hope against Verlander, it's because he's coming off a bad start, and also we have handled him before in the playoffs. So it's not like he's unbeatable, is the way I see it.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. But yo, obviously game one, Astros get the
What
edge
are you
here.
looking for out of Tyone tomorrow, though? I'm curious. Or tonight.
Tonight.
We gotta start saying game one, game two. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's probably yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'll be satisfied with 5 innings, 1 earned run.
I'd be cool with 5 innings, 2 runs. Even
I was gonna say that, but I feel like we're not winning the game at that point then, because I feel like Verlander's going like 7-1
I don't think that's
minimum.
gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we have Verlander out. I think his final line is going to finish below 6 innings. I think he'll end up going like 5 2/3, something like that. And if we can scrape 2 runs across against him, that would be huge.
And you know what, bro? Like, we could kind of like go into this with the philosophy that like so many people have been talking about. Like, the wild card teams seem to have been doing better, besides the Mariners, in like the division series, because they've kind of been able to stay hot. The Astros have had a little decent layover now. The Yankees have been consistently playing baseball games over the last couple of days, meaningful elimination games. So maybe the Yankees are riding into Houston hot. You know what I mean? So that's an opportunity too.
I couldn't agree more. I'm glad you brought that up, and I want to talk about it now. You know, I think we're in a better place having come back from a 2-1 deficit, winning in 5 games than sweeping. I really do. Now, I mean, not ideal that we didn't have the off day because of that rain out, but I really do think in terms of momentum, feeling good into a new series, coming back 2-1, that's nice, man. Our backs were against the wall, and knowing that we handled that and ended up taking the series in 5, going into Houston, I'd rather that than sweeping. I really would.
I agree. Yo, game 2, we got Luis Severino going against Framber Valdez. This is another one, bro. This is a really, really good pitching matchup. I mean, you could really go either way with it. I personally, maybe my Yankee bias is kicking in. I guess I'm going to go Sevy just because he looks so good in the ALDS. But yo, if you're not a Yankee fan, I could totally see you going Valdez here.
Yeah, I would say this is going to be the most even of the pitching matches we talk about, because Sevy versus Valdez, I mean, that's going to be advertised and coined up as what should be a pretty nice pitching duel. Sevy, didn't look great in the first inning, but ended up turning in a pretty solid performance. I'm not sure if he went 5 or 6, but after that first inning, he was pretty damn good for us against Cleveland. Valdez, great year. And dude, Houston's starting staff, I feel like if there's an area where they are better this year than the past times we faced them, it's definitely this, even with the loss of not having Morton or not having Zach Greinke. Cole, yeah, man, which is so nuts to say. But yeah, their starting staff is absolutely insane. I don't want to say like a tie, but like I feel just as good about having Luis Severino go in this game as if I were an Astros fan having Framber Valdez going into this game. So I feel like, talk about a wash. I think we can maybe say this one is a wash, but like in a good one for both teams. Like exactly. I'd say they cancel each other out because, with the way Sevy looked down the stretch and then the year Valdez put together, these are, I think, 2 top 10 pitchers in the American League. So I think both teams should feel good.
I agree. And yo, game 3. Now we're getting game 3. We got Garrett Cole going up against Lance McCullers Jr. Another really good pitching matchup, bro. I know McCullers kind of missed most of the season with injury, but yo, he still put up pretty good numbers in the 8 starts he did put out there, 2.27 ERA. And yo, he's seen the Yankees a bunch throughout his career. Like, yo, let's not forget, he was insane in that game 7 of the 2017 ALCS 5 years ago. So he's one of the few leftover Astros from that 2017 team. But yo, Garrett Cole is one of the best pitchers in baseball, one of the best postseason pitchers of all time. Him pitching game 3, the first game in the series in Yankee Stadium, is going to be awesome. It's going to be electric. I have so much faith in him. If there's any pitching matchup of this series that I'm the most confident in, it's this one. Just because it's the same way we view like Aaron Judge versus Kyle Tucker. Like, yes, they're both very, very good at what they do. However, one of them is elite. And in this situation, Garrett Cole is just elite. No one's touching him, bro.
Couldn't said it better. Yeah, no, McCullers, good as hell. Had a great year, 2.27 ERA in 8 starts. Pitched well against the Mariners, 6 innings scoreless. Like you said, it's Garrett Cole. And I would say that going into a fresh postseason, but, we're coming off an ALDS in which Garrett Cole put in his 2 best starts probably in the playoffs as a Yankee. So easy Yankee. And that's a game the Yankees are going to have to hopefully win because, and we can kind of go into this now, I guess, a little bit. You hope to take at least 1 from Houston, whether that's game 1 or game 2. Take 1. And then from there, I think that would mean you steal home field advantage because you have the next 3 Yankee Stadium, the last 2 in Houston. Game 3 is huge. That's one of those ones to where, regardless of what the series is, even if we're down 2-0, if we're up 2-0, I mean, you have to win with Garrett Cole on the mound in Yankee Stadium. So, respectable pitching matchup for sure on Houston's end of things. that's a game the Yankees have to win, though, with Garrett Cole.
And
involved.
tell me if I'm wrong, but the way the off days are set up are really weird. There's one off day in the ALCS, less than there were in the ALDS.
So
There's an
weird.
off day after game 2, and then games 3 through 7 will be played consecutively. So I'm really bad with math. We know this, but Garrett Cole is going to be starting game 3. He could pitch game 7 on short rest, correct?
Yeah, so I have it right here. So game 3 is Saturday. Cole pitches then 1, 2, 3. That'd be 3 days rest before going at game 7. So yeah, Garrett Cole is 100% the game 7 starter without a doubt, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, that's sick.
This is so awesome, man. Garrett Cole started for the New York Yankees in Yankee Stadium against the Houston Astros, which is a total flip. What, did I say something wrong?
No. I thought you meant in game 7. Oh, yeah, game 3, that would be the scenario. Yeah.
Yes.
But game 7
cool
would be even
because
crazier.
remember,
him in Houston.
Game 3 in 2019 was the exact opposite. That's when Cole pitched against Sevy, and he shoved against us.
And Didi almost just made us happy. But, I don't want to.
But we're getting revenge for that this year, man. So it's all good.
Exactly. Game 4. The last pitching matchup will kind of break down of this series. We're expecting it to be Nestor Cortez going up against Christian Javier. This is another one, bro. Like, I view it like similar to game 2, like another really, really good pitching matchup. However, letting my Yankee bias kick in here, it's another one of those scenarios where, if you're not a Yankee fan, maybe I could see you going the other way. I'm going Nestor Cortez. Now I will say, if he didn't look as good as he did in game 5, and I still kind of had that game 2 taste in my mouth, I maybe would have went Javier, but Nestor shoved in game 5. He looked really good, kind of eliminated any concerns I had about him after watching him in game 2. So I'm going Nestor. Give me Nestor.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, again, where it kind of cancels out because they're both so good. And, we'll have Houston Astros fans in the comments saying, oh, you guys are Yankee boys, biased as hell. Well, I think it makes total sense to where when pitchers are pretty even, us as Yankee fans, we're going to feel more confident in our guy, Nestor Cortez, because you could really go either way.
Yeah.
Valdez, man, he had a solid year. Another Houston starter, Javier. 30 starts, 11-9, 2.54 ERA, 148 innings pitched, though. So I guess he doesn't really go all that deep into games. 194 strikeouts, though. So he definitely strikes out more guys than Nestor. Nestor was awesome today. He really was. There was not really any point, maybe beside, even in that bases loaded jam. My confidence in Nestor never really wavered in game 5 against the Guardians.
Yeah.
So coming off that,
and from game 2, right? Because game 2, I was concerned about him at every point, like walking Austin Hedges twice. But you know,
it's nuts too because the lines look so similar if you compare game 2 and game 5. But the way he looked performance wise, totally different.
Yeah.
But and also today was going on 3 days rest too. So next time around, Nestor should be, I think, fully rested, which would be nice. I'm taking Nestor. So the way the rotation is lining up is, I think regardless, I think we should almost throw the point system out here, but
it's a wash.
Everything outside of maybe game 1, which even in that, Tyone is more than a respectable arm, and I feel confident in him going into game 1. We're set up pretty damn well against Houston Astros pitching wise.
Yeah, no, I agree. 1,000%. Like you said, the only game where I'm looking at here where it's like the Astros have like a major edge would be game 1. Other than that, like the Yankees might have a slight edge or like it's a complete wash. So, I'm not concerned at all as far as starting pitching goes.
I don't know about you. Are you feeling like this is closer than you anticipated going into it?
Yeah.
We're not that crazy
you know
underdogs.
What,
and I feel like people are making that a little too big of a story, by the way, that we're so much worse than the Houston Astros. We're really not.
No. Because it's the same way I view like the Tampa Bay Rays when we kind of like had that huge rivalry against them, right? It's not as much on the field as it is like a mental thing, right? Like the Astros own the New York Yankees. Whether like people want to admit that or not, it's the truth. They've eliminated us in the playoffs 2015, 2017, 2019. They've owned us in the regular season. So it's definitely a lot of that going into the narrative as well, right? Like we can't just ignore the fact that they've kind of like owned our franchise for the last 7 years or so. So yeah,
I wonder if that's on their minds.
Who, the Yankees?
I feel like if it's on one guy's mind, like I feel like it would really only be Judge because he's like the face of it. You know what I mean?
Could be.
Not like from a pressure standpoint, but just like there's got to be a little more extra motivation for, I'm not sure if I'm forgetting anybody, but like this is huge for Judge, man. Like I got to imagine like it's biting at him just a little bit more than the rest of the guys or any team that's facing another team in the playoffs. He wants this one really bad.
No, I think they all do. I think they all do, bro. Especially maybe guys like Stanton who are still kind of pissed off they weren't able to contribute in 2019, or guys like Sevy or guys like Oswaldo, who never got an opportunity before to be in the midst of this rivalry, or Josh Donaldson, who's always wanted to bring his edge to something like this on the biggest stage in baseball. Like, this is what everyone has been waiting for. And dude, everyone in baseball won this matchup. Like, this is it.
100%.
This might be bigger than the World Series, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh, it is. No, I think 100%. I've said this before. I think it's equivalent to the way the Red Sox and Yankees ALCS were talked about in the early 2000s. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, from a rating standpoint, this does better numbers than whatever World Series matchup is, unless we're in it. But yeah, dude, Sevy's,
by the way, I would love Yankees Phillies, by the way. That would be electric.
Give me Yankees Phillies, 100%. Sevy's a really good point, though, too, man, because you look back at 2017, he made 2 starts in the ALCS. Both of them came in Houston, which is, we all know the correlation with that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Moving on to the bullpen here.
This one I think we should do really quick, by the way, only because we definitely are probably like 30 minutes already.
Yo, by the way, appreciate all you for sticking around this long. But bullpen, I guess, like, as a whole, both bullpens are pretty good. Like, if you look at the numbers, like, sure, the Astros have the edge. However, I think a lot of the arms in the Yankees bullpen that I was concerned about going into the playoffs, they kind of proved me wrong in the ALDS. Like, yo, Wandy Peralta is our freaking closer, bro. I have not been this confident in a reliever since God knows when. Wandy Peralta,
so basically
Mo
is what you're saying.
No, he's basically Mariano Rivera. Like, that's the way I'm viewing him, bro. He pitched in every game of the division series. I saw some insane stat. Like, this was the first time somebody did that, and I don't know, God knows how long. But yo, Wandy is going on the mound to pitch every night, giving you multiple innings. He's never like really stressing me out too much. It's insane what Wandy Peralta has become. Clay Holmes looks like he's starting to get back to his old self. He looked really good in Game 5. Loaisiga looked really good in Game 5 as well. Marinaccio's coming back. Trevino, we know that he's a solid piece out of the bullpen too. And then you also have like a couple guys who we haven't really seen much of this series. Well, this postseason. Right. Licky, Herman, Schmidt, we saw him blow the game, but I don't know how much I'm blaming that on him.
He wasn't terrible, and he shouldn't have been in to begin with.
But that's what I'm saying. And then also like a potential Frankie Montas, right? Like, he could be like a factor in the bullpen too. Who knows at this point, right? So I'm looking at the Yankees bullpen, and I think those 3 guys that I mentioned last are going to be kind of X factors. Licky, Herman, and Schmidt, just because if the Yankees do have to play like 5 straight games, if they have to play 5 straight games, they're going to need guys like Licky and Herman and Schmidt to step up in big situations. So I think that's going to be huge. But as a whole, Houston has really good arms as well. I mean, I didn't know that Ryan Stanek had a 1.15 ERA this season. I mean, I had no clue. I didn't know Brian Abreu, I believe he's a former Yankee, pitched that well. They have a lot of guys in their bullpen that are very good arms. However, I can't give the edge to the Yankees just because the numbers on paper look really good for the Astros. But like, I don't know.
I'm going to give the edge to the Astros. I mean, they definitely have had some insane years out of the pen. But, I think what we learned from this series in the ALDS is that if the Yankees starters do their job, our top 4, top 5 out of the pen, that's more than enough to get it done. Because if they give us even just 5 innings, let's say Tyone tomorrow, for example, gives us 5, or Game 1, gives us 5 innings. We know that even outside of Marinaccio coming back, which that is huge, we got Loaisiga, who has been not just nails recently like in the postseason, but second half overall has been awesome. Wandy Peralta, you talked about him. Clay Holmes is absolutely back. Lou Trevino, I've established him as our jam guy. We get into any tight trouble, bases loaded, second, third, whatever. He clearly can get a strikeout. He's shown that. And then, Lucas Licky, we didn't even see him. He put together a really nice year, 2.67 ERA. Herman and Schmidt, definitely the 2 guys I'm the least confident in. That's probably more so like an extra inning type deal, or, if you just need length, the start doesn't go very long. But while I'll give the edge to Houston just because, you look at the ERAs from their top 5 guys of the pen, 1.15, 1.94, 2.98, 2.37, 0.89 for Hunter Brown. And they also strike the hell out of people.
But no, like, my thing, bro, is like, maybe you could call me like a casual baseball fan. I've never heard of Hunter Brown before. Like,
he's, I think, a rookie that just got called up. And also, to be fair, like, if there's one position on the team you wouldn't know players as well, it's probably the bullpen. So I'll give the edge to Houston. But this is kind of where I'm at overall, because even if you want to, like, let's just say Houston's still the better team, even after doing what seemed like a pretty close comparison.
Slightly.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's our team and our areas that, say, even if we're lacking in, are still very respectable and close to what the Astros are putting up. It really is. Offense, I think we're right there with them. Starting rotation, outside of really of Game 1, we're right there with them. And then in the bullpen, once again, ours has shown that if our starter does their job, and that job can really just be 5 innings, at least for most of the guys outside of Cole, our bullpen's good enough, man. It 100% is. We can win this series without a doubt. We can.
No, yeah, 100%, dude. And I think, I hate going back to this point, but it's one of my favorite points that I ever made. Garrett Cole this postseason, right? Defining his Yankee legacy can change the narrative about himself. The Yankees can change the narrative about their entire franchise with winning this series over the Houston Astros. You could kill the narrative that the Astros own us. You could kill the narrative like that the Yankees can't beat the Astros in the postseason. However, on the flip side, like if the Yankees lose this series, a lot of questions need to be answered in terms of like, is it possible for the Yankees to overcome the Houston Astros, at least as currently built and at least as the Astros are currently built? It would become a serious red flag, if not already. So I think it's going to be a very interesting series. I think that the Yankees are going to have a lot of mental hurdles to overcome. However, I will say if there was any Yankees team that I think is capable of doing it, it's definitely this one. I think that they definitely have a little chip on their shoulder. They're coming off a really solid comeback in the ALDS. So I mean, if I'm kind of like making my prediction for this series, I think it would be wrong for me to say that I think the Astros are going to win. That's just never going to be me. That's not who I am. So I'm going to say the Yankees are going to win in 6. I think that that's fair. That's obviously giving respect to the Astros. I mean, like I was talking to fans outside Yankee Stadium after Game 5, and as riled up as they are and as F the Houston Astros as they are, when you ask them, are the Yankees going to sweep Yankees in 4? They're like, no, Yankees in 5, Yankees in 6, Yankees in 7. Just because, like, at the end of the day, like, Yankee fans know what the Houston Astros are capable of, right? And they have respect for the Houston Astros. Not respect for the 2017 Houston Astros, but you look at the 2022 Houston Astros, and you have respect for them as a baseball team because you know what they're capable of.
Respect that they're good, yes. You know they're definitely a good baseball team.
And you know that they could beat the Yankees on any given night. So that's kind of in the back of your mind always. So yeah, I'm gonna still stick with my prediction though. Yankees in 6.
Yeah, I was gonna go Yankees in 7. I think with how good of a team they have, and just this is gonna be a dogfight, man. It really is. I don't see it going anywhere less than 7 games, to be honest. I think if it were, it'd be like somebody gets swept, which I don't see that happening at all. It's huge, man. It really, really is. And I've gone on at length about this, but I'll say it once more. It would just put this chapter to bed. It would give me, I don't want to say the closure that I need because that sounds lame as hell, but it really would be, man. I mean, Judge gets his MVP. Yankees get past the Astros and then hopefully go on to win the World Series. It would kind of just salvage what the last 6 years have been for this Yankees team, the Baby Bombers. And that's something I desperately need, man. I really do. And the stakes are high for both teams. I mean, Astros fans can pretend like there's not a rivalry between us. And I understand they've been on the better end of it. Totally makes sense.
It's like a Yankees Mets kind of thing, right?
It's different than that though, because it goes so much deeper because obviously the cheating and all that. But once that came out, or even just look back to the 2017 team, the one World Series that they won. If we beat them this time around, 1, they no longer can say that they own us. 2, all they'll have is just that one 2017 World Series title. And they deny 2019, they deny all the other years. What they can't is 2017. So if all they have is that one measly little tainted title and the little error of this Yankees Astros thing we've been having the last few years, it ends in us getting past them. I truly believe that will be the most happy, anything to do with sports, whether it's my own personal accomplishments, being a junior on JV, my Little League accomplishments, or just watching the Yankees in any success I've seen them have. The Yankees getting past the Astros in this ALCS will be awesome, man. It really, really will be.
Let me say this one thing, though. I do think that this ALCS is very important, right? However, I don't want to view victory over the Astros in the ALCS is like the crowning achievement for the Yankees season, right? Because the only way I look at it, the only thing I could compare it to really is like the 2003 Yankees, right? Like
if we lose in the World Series, it really doesn't mean.
But it's like
anything.
The Yankees beat the Red Sox with like that Aaron Boone home run, Game 7, right? But then they got killed by the Marlins in the World Series, so it's kind of like whatever. So it's like if the Yankees beat the Astros but then don't win the World Series, it'll kind of mean nothing to me at the end.
Yes,
of the
day, but let me be clear. Winning the World Series, absolutely, that's my ultimate goal. And if we don't, season is still a failure. However, though, I don't think you can exactly compare to that because I think it's more so in comparison, like we're the 04 Red Sox. And while they did win the World Series, I do think there's a good portion of that fan base that would take some pride still, while still acknowledging that you want to win the World Series. But getting past the Yankees, to them, man, 04, like that was their World Series. And I feel like there was a lot of Red Sox fans that were, I don't want to say content with that because that's nowhere near where I will be at if we lose World Series. But like this series, man, is huge for me.
It is.
It
It is. But
really,
it would still
really
mean
is.
nothing to me without a World Series. That's the way I view it, bro. Like I won't have any sort of happiness afterwards. I won't like reflect on it in a fun way. It'll be the same way I view like the ALDS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with you there. It's also, I feel a little more confident because I imagine that we're going to be better than whatever team we end up facing, whether it's the Padres or especially the Phillies, who I feel like all they really have going for them is Bryce Harper and the fact that they're hot. And their top
we
two
thought
starters are
that.
really, really good. Well, no. I'm not saying it would be a lock that we would beat them, but like it's not like, all right, after we beat Houston, we got the Dodgers, who that was always who scared me the most. If we can beat the Houston Astros, we're absolutely more than capable and probably would be the favorite if we got past them to beat either Philly or the Padres.
Whoever wins the ALCS,
it's
the same way as 2019. Whoever won that ALCS was going to be a heavy favorite, but we saw what happened in that
right,
World Series, right?
But I want to make that clear. This isn't my World Series per se.
Yeah.
If we lose it in the end, this season was a failure. But I haven't been this excited, and I guess this puts a bow kind of on the whole thing. I haven't been this excited for a postseason series in my entire life. This is the rematch of the century, and it starts tonight.
You know what, Dan? Like we said for so long, like just get us there, get us to the ALCS. Just because we were talking about this before we even started recording. Like a postseason run, when we look back on it, it feels different. At least when we like get to the ALCS, like at least we feel like we made some sort of run, right?
And now I got our money's worth a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like this team has a serious run. Like I look back at my life, like according to Yankees postseason runs, like it's kind of insane. Like, oh, what was I doing like in the last time they were in the ALCS? So it's like the Yankees have an opportunity this year. We're in the Final Four. Like when you think of it that way, it's kind of insane. Like the Yankees are in the Final Four teams, and there's kind of like, if you want to flip a couple coins, there's a 1 in 4 chance that we win the World Series this year. So why not us, bro? You know what I mean?
I love it. Why not us? I love that. Yes, dude. It kind of hit me the way you just said it right now. It's like, obviously I know this, but it's like, yo, if we win this series, we make it.
We're in the World Series,
which is insane.
First time since 2009. And I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself because we're still far away from doing that. But it's within reaching distance. And the Yankees could easily do it with a great series played against Astros, overcome that mental hurdle, act like they don't own you anymore, and stick that knife in that coffin, which is inside the coffin, is that narrative that the Astros, that we can't beat the Astros. That's basically what it is.
After doing this preview comparison that we did today, which once again, thank you guys for sticking through. This episode's probably 40 minutes long.
I love you.
How do you feel about, don't you think that it's very competitive, these two rosters?
Yes.
It's overblown.
However,
it's overblown how we're some crazy underdog. And that might be what you said before about how we, have the mental hurdle and how we haven't been able to overcome them in the playoffs. But if you just go roster to roster, like position by position, this is going to be a series, man. And I think it's absolutely going to go at least 6 games.
It is. However, let's also say this fact. I can't think of a postseason series, maybe the 2017 ALDS, when I would look at both teams and be like, yo, the Yankees might not have a chance here. Every single postseason series I go into, and the Yankees won that series, so there you go. But every single postseason series we go into, I kind of view it as the Yankees having a really good chance. So
for sure, I'm only bringing it up though, because the way the outside world is talking about it. Obviously, what we'll think is different, and we know how good this Yankee team is and can be. But like, have you seen?
Are people acting like the Yankees have no chance?
Kind of, which is funny to me. They are, and while we kind of are both acknowledging the Astros have a slight edge, that's all it is.
Sure,
slight.
On a scale of 1 to 10, like they have with 10 being Astros and 0 being Yankees. That's just the scale I'm using. I would say it's right now like a 6, or maybe a 6.5, leaning in the Astros' favor.
Yeah, I think I understand your rating system, and I would probably right around agree with that. My nerves started to set in a little bit like before this episode because now I'm kind of far removed from Game 5 and I'm in ALCS preparation mode.
Dude, we just had like a whole timeline in one episode. We were like ALDS, and now it's like, yo, let's win the World Series.
Fuck it. Yanks in 7, yo. Yanks in 7 this ALCS,
7?
and then in this ALCS.
Dude, I don't know if I could take it in ALCS Game 7.
I think it's gonna absolutely go 7. Yo, we're probably gone so long. We should wrap this up.
Yeah.
Good time today, Pat. We'll be back with post games after every episode. You guys have been so awesome.
Tomorrow morning.
We really gotta do a class on this, bro, and figure this out after Game 1. But you guys, the
which
reception
will be tomorrow morning.
I guess. No, you're right. This hurts my brain when we talk this way. Because if you can't tell, me and Pat are recording this Tuesday night at Game 5, so everything's all out of whack in our heads. But what I'm saying is, reception to like it's the overall interaction with the post game episodes and just the Yanks App show overall, man. We're on episode 20. This really has been awesome. Like I had a I don't say like a vision, but like what I wanted this show to be, it has become that and way more. Big part of that is my boy Pat. I think people you guys always talk about in the comments. We have great chemistry. We bounce off each other. The show is fun as hell. I truly look forward to it every single time we do it. And the fact that we are getting like, not that the views is what makes it worthwhile, but like it really is a nice added bonus that you guys are like enjoying the show and kind of just like so interactive and just receptive to it. Awesome. I don't know. I think it's cool,
Yeah, it's awesome. And can I say my story, bro? I was at Yankee Stadium the other day, and father son came up to me and said, "Oh, we love the Yankees Avenue Show." Like that's an insane thing,
awesome,
and
man.
I love it. We love you guys so much, bro. And unfortunately, like we've kind of like strayed away from the viewer questions with the postseason just because like not something that we really have time for. But in the off season, I promise, bro, we're gonna like get so back into like immersing with viewers. Maybe we'll do like live streams where we can answer like live Q&As and stuff like that. Like we love you guys, truthfully, and we say it all the time.
100%. And as for like the viewer questions, like today was the closest to a traditional episode we've come in a couple of weeks, right? Or like over a week.
Yeah.
And even this episode was probably like 40 minutes long. But yeah, no, once things get back to normal, hopefully not for another couple of weeks, we'll get back to 5 little topic bars, viewer question at the end, all that stuff. Show's been awesome 20, so far. Bro. In the books. Love it. Yanks in 7, ALCS. How are you guys feeling? Drop your prediction down below. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you are new. Rate, review, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go, Yankees.